Clive, if you let yourself be defeated by them just because you are too fair to hit back the same way they hit at you, there won't be any methods but Nazi methods. If you preach the rules of the game while they use every foul and filthy trick against you, they laugh at you. They think you're weak, decadent. I thought so myself in 1919.
I heard all that in the last war. They fought foul then, and who won it?
I don't think you won it. We lost it, but you lost something too. You forgot to learn the moral. Because victory was yours, you failed to learn your lesson 20 years ago. And now you have to pay the school fees again. Some of you will learn quicker than the others. Some will never learn it, because you've been educated to be a gentleman and a sportsman in peace and in war. But Clive, dear old Clive, this is not a gentleman's war. This time you are fighting for your very existence against the most devilish idea ever created by a human brain, Nazism. And if you lose, there won't be a return match next year. Perhaps not even for 100 years.
Come. Found over 1,700 times in the Word of God where this word is used, come. And that's not coming in the rest of the comes, but that's just come. Preaching my heart out for 45 minutes to an hour on that one word, come. And it was one of our Lord's favorite words. Come unto me, come and drink, come and dine. Jesus said, come, come. And it goes on and 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 on. In its application. Come! What did Jesus say to his disciples? Come! There's no room for discussion, friend. Guess what? Come! Come. It commands obedience. Come! How many have had the Holy Ghost come in you? He was crucified for you. He died for you. He did everything for you. It's time for you to... Oh! On that one word, come. And it was one of our Lord's favorite words. Come unto me. Come and drink. Come and dine. Jesus said, come, come. And it goes on and 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 on.
is going to town. All the viewers gather around. Twitch and YouTube and swishy streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, gaming, and plenty more. Your sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord. Riverboat Jack, 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 Riverboat Jack. That's what I'm talking about. First time singing the songs for Riverboat Jack. Shout out. I don't know what I'm doing really, but I got passion. And that's what it's about. It's all about passion. Swishy streams, all that content is bursting the seams. Politics, gaming, and plenty more. Your sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord. Riverboat Jack, 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 Riverboat Jack,
Hello, 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 everyone. How we doing? How we doing? Lovely to see y'all here. Time for a show with our host, Riverboat Jack. Indeed, thank God it's Friday. How we all doing, folks? I'm just tinkering around here with the back end real quick. Don't mind me. Just gotta do some things. There we go, nailed it. Did the thing. Cool. How we doing, folks? Van Briggs. Cheers. And Ning. Hello, hello. Oof. Hello, Snoogan. Your content has been keeping me positive. Thank you. Go. Sorry. Your content has been keeping me positive and going during my workday. Thank you for what you're doing. Bless the YouTube algo for blessing me with your content. Maddie Nelson, thank you so much. It really does mean a lot. I do appreciate the positive feedback because you know, I'm doing my best. You're my Hope Core streamer. Look, I guess I subscribe to an idea of revolutionary optimism, you know, like I just believe, like I think when I articulate it, it seems almost childish, but like, you gotta believe in yourself. You gotta believe in your ability to change things for the better. And I think that, the entirety of human history is people working together to do just that. And I think we are going to prevail, just as, you know, humans have prevailed before us. Now let's see. How we doing? I'm good. It's always a delightful start to stream to hear one of Jazz Dog's absolute bangers. Indeed. Indeed, indeed. Much love for Jazz Dog over in the chats. Earlier, I went into a live stream with some old vets staring at the downtown Portland ice cams. They insisted Antifa was real, but they weren't out right now because the cameras are on. Oh no, Stout Man. Do I have to worry about people attacking us at the protest? I don't think so. Maybe like some, trigger happy ice people with pepper balls, but probably not with actual bullets, no. Jack, I have a random question. What is it, Quigley? Who complimented me? Depraved Ambiance, as well as Hand of Vecna, who said, if Jazz Dog is out there, you're a fucking beast, mate. Also, Beetlebug Robo, you've been subscribed for 1 day. Why am I going live at midnight?
Honestly, you, Voosh, and Mr. Taken together are kinda the perfect storm of informative, incendiary, and hopeful.
I didn't look at the text of your dono, so I was really confused about there being like a Mr. YouTube channel that I just haven't heard of before, and then I realized it's just text to speech being real silly about MR. And frankly, that being compared to the Majority Report is quite flattering. Thank you. What is your take on male circumcision being so common here in the US? I think it's weird. I think it's weird, and it's kind of the legacy, by and large, of like eugenicists like Kellogg, who believed in like shooting bran flakes up people's asses and like getting them to eat graham crackers so they wouldn't masturbate. So like I think that like there's a weird legacy that led to it becoming very normalized in the United States. And I just don't think it's good. I don't think it's a good practice. 26 Senate Dems caved? I have not seen that. Let me see if I can, Sometimes you guys ask me about something and I need to look it up real quick. Okay, so the 26 senators who caved on the NDAA, which is the National Defense Authorization Act, which is what extends essentially military spending. And yeah, it includes anti-trans provisions in it. A ban on transgender participation in sports at military academies, extending even to visiting students in intercollegiate competitions, a prohibition on Defense Department funding for gender-affirming surgeries, which could also sweep in defense contractors as well as trans military spouses, and a measure gutting equal opportunity and diversity protections across the armed forces. Well, that is gonna suck. The bill now is going into conference negotiations with the House. Okay, so this still has to go through the House and then the Senate again. Yeah, the legislation will then return to both chambers for final approval, and they're trying to get it to the president's desk by year end. Yeah, not a great sign for LGBTQ people when the Senate Dems throw them under the bus. Not great. That being said, that being said, I'm glad that when you said 26 Democrats caved, I'm glad you weren't talking about the main thing that they are holding up right now. Playing some Silk Song? Hell yeah. Alright, I need to say hello to all of you because otherwise I'm gonna feel like I'm not starting the stream. Vox Populi Press, hello. Underground Uncle, hello. Assistant Manager of Antifa, hello. Jazz Dog, hello. Hello, Withotro, hello. The Knifiest Duck, hello. Comrade Girl 2018, hello. Mr. Lone Wolf, hello. Newt Enderswick, hello. Underground Uncle, hello. Bisbee, hello. Quinn Decker, hello. Tea Leaf, hello. Depraved Ambiance, hello. Beetlebug Robo, hello. Hand of Vecna, hello. Paladin Lost. Hello, Nightlight Plushie Jesus. Hello. How we doing, Quinn Decker? How we doing, Advanced Turtle Logic? Hello, Van Briggs. Hello, German Cow JJ. Hello, Twitchy Tism. Hello, Punky Gal. Hello, Fiora. Hello, Mr. Malachite. Hello, Witch Night Melody. Hello, Fox of Fate. Hello, Pluvius. Hello. How we doing, ya hosers? That's a thing people say colloquially. Hello, Lady Raincloud. Hello, Matt the Yahoo. Hello, Bastion. Hello, Lily Love Stuff. Hello, Punk Monk. Hello, Matthew H. Hello, Yannick de Newborg. Hello, Jordan Stark. Hello, Lemony fucking Snicket. Hello, Louise. Hello, Kazooie. Hello, Vetra Scavs. Hello. How we doing, John Smith? Hello, Cute Dark Arts. Hello, Sorry You're Blue. Hello, Olsen Exy. Hello, No Name. 7820. Hello. Just to be here. Hello, how we doing, folks? Am I a fan of The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past? I am indeed. When are we getting our next Metatron segment? After we finish the daily segments today. Hello, Legend of Sean. Oof. Ahoy, loquification. Hey, CS. All right. Hello, Memory Suit, and goodbye. Hello, John Bogardus. Let's do this, Liz Galahad, indeed. Let's go. All right. Folks, I want to urge you all to be careful, okay? Be careful with the kind of content you're seeing and sharing, because in this age of AI technology, people are fabricating anything that might get attention or clicks in order to profit off of it. And why am I bringing this up? Well, because this got a little bit of traction today. News reporter gets detained while on the job.
This is a mistake. I'm on assignment. You know that.
Ma'am, hands stay behind your back. We'll clarify at the station.
Why are you taking her? She's a reporter.
Yeah, what's going on?
I'm being detained for doing my job. Keep recording.
Watch your step, ma'am. Doors.
That was AI. That was not real. That is not a real journalist being taken in by ICE or the police. You can actually see at one point here, for example, it's a little hard to point to make out, but notice her hands are being handcuffed behind her back, and yet she's still holding the microphone right here. So like somehow her forearm bends at like a like just a crazy angle where there's no joint in order to hold it like that. Like, this is just AI. This is AI bullshit. Okay? This is all just AI bullshit. You need to be careful, and you need to double check. You need to do your due diligence, alright? But also worth noting that an actual honest-to-God journalist was detained by Border Patrol agents today. And here's the video.
What's your name?
Debbie Brockman, I work for WGN. Let them know.
I got you. Yep. Debbie Browning?
Brockman.
Brockman, WGN. Do you guys want to share your names too, or I'm just going to cover your face? What's your name?
Debbie Brockman.
That's a real journalist being detained by these masked goons. Just disgusting, frankly, disgusting individuals in a disgusting system, you know? Discovered your channel last week with the Hope video. Keep up the good work. Thanks for being here. So anyway, there's plenty of real content out there. There's plenty of real abuses happening. We don't need to share around fake ones. We don't need to seek out AI-generated content of the authorities being violent towards protesters, because they provide that every day for free, you know? God, it sucks. We live in such a dystopian time, man. Anyway, this has been your PSA. Do your due diligence and double check, please. And like, comment, and subscribe. I I just keep noticing how all these brown shirts all sort of look the same, even with masks on, same type of people each time. Yeah, it's a weird through line, isn't it? In the background, so many boarded up windows using non-Euclidean geometry. Wait, I didn't notice that part.
She's a reporter.
Yeah, what's going on?
I'm being detained for doing my job. Keep
Watch
recording.
your step, man. Doors.
Okay, I totally saw it that time. God. Let's see, I wanted to take a look here. One of you said a comment, my brain is stuck on it. Do. Whatever. All right. Oh, I think somebody asked me if I was going to be covering something, and the answer is no. God, what was it? Well, someone asked me if I was going to cover something. Oh, it was the ICE agents. Yeah, I'm not seeing what I was asked about there, so we're gonna move on. What is this? Y'all need to stop sending me shit. Okay, here we go. Let's move on. Stop being divisive pricks with your virtue signaling. I hope you feel good about picking fights with mentally ill war vets in an effort to say you're better than them. You need more support, not divisiveness. I don't know what you're talking about. If you're going to the DC No Kings protest, I'll likely be there. Hell yeah, leftist owl. I will not be in DC, no. But I will be going to the protest. Hello, Ali. Hello, Banana Brains. That was for the entire chat? What? Oh, I see. Sorry, I'm getting a little, like, bamboozled by you guys. I need to stop paying as much attention to you all. And just, like, forge ahead with the content I have prepped. Sleep Bomber, thank you for the $5 super chat. I don't know why text-to-speech didn't read it out, but I'll read it out for you. I, too, just discovered you last week. I live in Colorado. Heard you say fuck Polis. Can you elaborate on that? Only thing I know about him is he is a Lord of the Rings nerd. Let me pull something up. Do. Yeah, my understanding is that Jared Polis is working in some capacity with ICE, and also has been supportive of numerous Trump appointees like RFK Jr. It's pretty disappointing to see. Now, granted, maybe he's changed his stances since the last time I checked in on him, but as far as like a Democrat goes, he hasn't been. He has not been one of the braver ones, we'll say. Who's Jared Polis? The governor of Colorado. I seem to recall him being not great on trans issues too, but I can't remember the specific circumstances. I remember we've talked about him before. I don't know if we have a segment you could search that you would find him in, that discussion in. But I know I've talked about him before. Yeah, no, like he's a better governor than Hickenlooper was for sure, but like, you know, the bar was very low.
Polis leftism stops at Idepol.
Yeah, that's kind of the issue in a nutshell. Sake Tanuki, thank you for the 5 tier 1 subs, bringing us up to 13. Look at us go. He's sort of okay with trans issues. Okay, maybe I'm confusing him with a different governor. All right, I can't keep getting distracted. We have too much to talk about. All right, I want to do the segment kind of rounding up where we're at right now with the Trump administration. Here we go. You guys ready? Yeah, Colorado as a whole is one of the better states for trans rights. I'm just not a fan of Jared Polis. All right. Also, just real quick before we start, this outfit is so fucking good, chat. This outfit's so fucking good. I love it. All right. Here we go. So, folks, we have to talk about what's going on in Trump world, because there's a guy named Donald J. Trump, and he is, well, he's trying to become an authoritarian, but like in the laziest way possible. By which I mean he's like delegating a bunch of tasks to a bunch of unskilled lackeys to try and do his bidding in a way like really emulating some kind of old school stereotypical RPG, where the main powerful bad guy just like has a bunch of dundering oafs under his control, and one by one they get sent out to stop, you know, the protagonists, only to fail comedically, right? That's kind of where we're at right now, because like these people are they're trying to like put their foot on the gas, right? There's obviously concerns about like Donald Trump's health. There's obviously concerns that he's not doing so hot. Notably, and I don't think we talked about this the other day, but notably he's going in for his second yearly physical, as in he's already had his once per year physical, and now he's getting a bonus physical early. You know, as one does when things are going well for you. So basically, and the question would be, why is he going in? And the answer that the White House has supplied is he's getting an extra one. Basically, guys, what we've been able to kind of glean from his public slooping is he's having mini seizures. He's got circulation issues. We all saw his hands swelling up and his calves swelling up. He's also got like some kind of IV that is being routinely put into his hand, and that could be related to heart issues. There is a lot going on with this guy, and he is not okay.
I did so good on my physical that they gave me a second one, the best of any sitting president.
Yeah, look, they're putting out there that like his heart is as healthy as a 65-year-old. And it's just like, we're not buying it because we can see him, man. Like he's not doing great. So all I have to say about this is that I think he's on the way out. It's why he's obsessed with the Nobel Peace Prize. It's why he's been talking about heaven and the afterlife and how he'll do there. It's why he's talking... it's why he took it so personally today that he didn't get the Nobel Peace Prize. And he's just been raging at everyone. It's crazy. But not only that, he has to go in, right? So he gives other people control over vast swaths of the country. And we're kind of seeing this solidify in a number of interesting ways. Specifically, a story dropped today about Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller accidentally says "I" when discussing Trump's powers, which is very interesting. So, the actual quote is, Illinois governor says, "We're provoking actions that are unlawful." Why would the mere presence... Just think about this for a second. If I put federal law enforcement and National Guard into a nice, sleepy southern town, is anyone gonna riot? So, while he's talking about what the president can do, Stephen Miller is talking about, him doing the troop deployments. And in case y'all are wondering if Stephen Miller can do that, the answer is no. The answer is actually, if Stephen Miller is giving orders to direct military troops, he is in fact doing so illegally. And that is a pretty huge issue, right? Because this man has been going on television for the last few days talking about how the president has plenary powers. Basically asserting like total and complete power over certain actions, right? But if it's not actually the president who even has those in his own construction, but some toady like Miller, we're in some pretty deep shit. Yeah, he cannot do that. And if he's forging like the president's signature or something in order to put those orders out, that's a pretty big issue. So, all of that being said, we've got all these signs of failing, aging, meat hardware, but this administration, this regime, is running into the brutal realities of actually trying to do authoritarianism. Because there are a few big problems if you want to be an authoritarian and in the United States, right? And one of the big problems is that this country has been, despite all of the propaganda for decades, despite all of that, there is a fundamental idea of freedom that rejects dictators and authoritarians and tyrants. There is a fundamental ethos that is antithetical to what they are doing, and that is why you are starting to see all kinds of people from across the political spectrum being activated to go out to these protests, right? This is exactly why it's resonating with folks. This is why you're seeing, like, milquetoast liberal wine moms suddenly, like, carrying the torches of Lady Liberty and calling for the storming of the Bastille, right? Like, that's what, like, there's clearly something that resonates here. And part of the issue is that, like, the Trump administration is economically giving nothing to the vast majority of people. So people are economically under hardship, right? And not only that, the administration is just gleefully like rubbing their hands together and like gloating over their escalating attempts to seize power, and they're doing it in public, right? Here's a Wall Street Journal piece from today. Trump, feeling emboldened, pushes agenda into higher gear. And if you read through this, it's truly incredible, right? There are obviously a bunch of bad developments, coming through with, like, tariffs. Trump wants to put, like, a 100% tariff on China now, because China's, like, shifting things around with their rare earth metals and amping up the pressure on the United States that wants to use those rare earth metals to build server farms for AI. But this was very interesting. Inside the White House, top advisors joke that they are ruling Congress with an iron fist, according to people who've heard the comments. Steve Bannon, the influential Trump ally, likened Congress to the Duma, the Russian assembly that is largely ceremonial. When senior White House aide Stephen Miller recently held a party at the exclusive Ned's Club to celebrate his 40th birthday, House Speaker Mike Johnson showed up to honor Miller, the people said. Like, they're just, like, openly gloating about it. Yeah, all circus, no bread, and that doesn't work. That absolutely doesn't work. Right? And so we're seeing just, like, this disgusting display of behavior and ideology completely antithetical to the very idea of America, at least as commonly believed in modern times. And that is going to be a real barrier to them succeeding in this authoritarian mission. Another thing that's going to be a real barrier in their attempts to succeed here is that I gotta tell you guys, every day now, it is monstrous stories of abuse at the hands of ICE, at the hands of Border Patrol. It is crazy. There was a story that came out today out of Houston. Missing teen with autism reportedly in ICE custody. So what happened here was a 15-year-old autistic boy wandered off from home, went out to play, never came home. His parents wound up calling the police, and after, like, a long and grueling search, they found out that ICE had literally just rolled up and kidnapped this 15-year-old autistic child. It's crazy. Here.
So a 15-year-old boy, autistic, who was believed to be missing, has actually been in ICE custody for several days. Fox 26's Jillian Hartman is live in Spring Branch, where the boy was last seen almost a week ago. And you just got an update from the family the past 30 minutes. What did they have to tell you, Jillian?
Yeah, this boy's been missing for a week. Like, they didn't... ICE is literally just snatching up children. Like they're fucking bagmen from Bloodborne.
Yes, we learned that the boy is in ICE custody at one of the detention centers here in Houston. The mom says that he is safe and okay. Now, the boy was here at this intersection in Spring Branch with his mom and sister selling fruit when he disappeared. And here's the information we just learned in the last 30 minutes. Take a look at this. So the boy has autism and is sometimes nonverbal, and he disappeared last Saturday. He's 15 years old, but his social worker says he has the mindset of a 4 to 5-year-old. So they were very worried about his safety. The mom said around 3 p.m. on October 4th, she was with a customer selling fruit when her son asked her to use the restroom, and when she turned around, he was gone. Now, they filed a missing person report with Houston police, and earlier today, Fiel Houston held a press conference with the family begging for the public's help to find him. Now, today, police notified the family that the boy was found safe. Fiel Houston said a law enforcement agency found him, and he's been at the Office of Refugee Resettlement Children's Detention Center since Monday. The family is undocumented, and
they threw a non-verbal disabled child into a prison camp. These kinds of stories aren't going to go away. They're only going to intensify. You know, like, this is just monstrous, right? And I mean, like, we haven't even talked about one of the worst stories. You all remember we talked about the South Shore raid in Chicago a couple days ago. The Chicago Sun-Times has been doing some excellent reporting on this, and I highly recommend everyone go check out this particular article here. I'm going to link it in chat, because this is... I mean, this is some just absolutely fucked shit, frankly. And you should share this wherever you can, because basically this article is the story of a man who lives in this apartment complex that got raided by, you know, hundreds of these heavily armed men. And as the raid was happening, he got like furious knocks on his door, not from ICE, but from a woman and her 7-year-old daughter who were terrified out of their minds. Keep in mind that during this raid, they were pulling naked children out of the apartment complex and putting them into U-Hauls, right? We're talking like some actual brown shirt shit. You know? We're talking, like, these people are fascists, and when this is done, they need to see the inside of a jail cell, right? And I mean, this man sheltered them for several days to make sure that no one abducted them. No, ICE did not spirit away this 7-year-old and her mother. The 7-year-old hid crying under his bed. Like, this is disgusting. Just one excerpt. "I didn't want them to take her," said the man, who didn't want to be named because he fears he'll be targeted by federal authorities for his actions, which is a completely valid fear to have. right? This administration absolutely would target him. I gave her my bedroom and I just told her, stay there, don't open, don't, shh, just stay quiet. He recalled telling the mom and daughter as he choked back tears. At one point, he went outside to check on things. He said ICE shouted at him to, quote, shut my door, get the fuck inside, and don't open my door again. The man knew these, this mother and daughter from bumping into them several times in the building's laundry room, right? And yeah, it's bad. It's quite bad and sick and disgusting. And I just, like, I'm running out of words to really capture this event. And it's this stuff radicalizes people. These types of stories, they motivate people to take action. So please share that article around from the Chicago Sun-Times, because we need to motivate more and more people to stand up and do the right thing. To stand up and actually turn out to protest, stand up and actually help their neighbors. We need more of that. Right? We need more of that. Because it is only that solidarity that is going to see us through. Now, another thing that is working against the Trump administration is the fact that they just don't give a fuck. Right?
Russell Vogt said the reductions in force have begun related to this shutdown. How many layoffs have you authorized for this first round, and from which agencies?
And it'll be Democrat-oriented, because we figure, you know, they started this thing, so they should be Democrat-oriented. It'll be a lot, and we'll announce the numbers over the next couple of days, but it'll be a lot of people, all because of the Democrats. I mean, they want to give $1.5 trillion to people that came to the country illegally. More important than that.
Okay, just a couple of things, right? One, just because there's a government shutdown doesn't mean you need to fire people. It has never necessitated that once in the history of government shutdowns. Number two, the idea that Democrats want $1.5 trillion for undocumented immigrants when undocumented immigrants can't get Medicaid. So they're fighting for $1.5 trillion for Americans to continue getting the same level of healthcare that they had before, which wasn't great. These are just lies. Every single word out of this man's mouth, out of his peons' mouths, are lies. Right? Mass layoffs are not going to make this administration more popular or beloved. And neither are the service slowdowns that these mass layoffs are going to necessitate, because the government cannot simply fire tens of thousands of people and continue to function as normal. Like, it doesn't work that way. People are needed to do the work. All of these things that I'm trying to point out to you guys are reasons that people are going to mobilize against this regime. You know, whether it's the, you know, frankly, overtly fascist kidnappings, or like just the intentionally cruel separations of families, or the, you know, mass economic devastation, or the, you know, frankly, what is going on with military families.
The government is targeting people for termination based solely on their political party? Isn't that a giant violation of free speech?
Yes. Yes. And they are claiming that they're going to fire only Democrats, but that's also a lie. because they're firing people basically at random, right? So in a way, they're not violating free speech. They're just saying they're going to violate free speech, but they're firing Republicans, Democrats, you know, independents, etc. Like, they are not discriminating based on, you know, their political affiliation, right? And one of the ways you can kind of tell that that isn't the case is that if this administration was actually discriminating against Democrats and favoring Republicans, you wouldn't see economic policies like this go into effect.
As I take a step aside here, there is quite a bit of military members and their families in line because of this government shutdown. We're in day 9 of it, and they're here for a food pantry. There's all sorts of food that is available, and I spoke with some military member spouses, and I spoke with some department heads here at the ASYMCA on why this is so important. What's the difference in the amount of people that you've seen from today to previously?
So when we first started coming, there definitely wasn't this amount of people. It was a lot, but it wasn't this amount to where it wrapped around the building. But lately it has been a lot. Like, we were here last week and we were in line for like 2 hours.
In a normal week, we usually run out of food about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Last week we ran out of food about 10:30.
As I take a...
So in case any of you are not on the ball on what exactly this means, it means that, you know, the Trump administration has recreated bread lines because the members of our military can't afford to feed themselves or their families, right? Like, this is well, let me put it this way. If you're trying to do an authoritarian coup and overthrow democracy and, you know, institute a dictatorship of some kind, you need the military on your side, and forcing them to wait multiple hours to get food is not going to win you over rank-and-file soldiers. And the issue is that, like, Republicans have served as a roadblock to this, right? People know that Republicans are a roadblock to this. This is why we saw the other day Mike Johnson was taking a call from, you know, from a military spouse who blamed him accurately for keeping the House out of session. This is not something that one does if they have a winning strategy to consolidate the military. Right? And another thing, and I think this is a big tell. I think the administration has kind of shown their hand a bit here, which is that they are now attacking the No Kings protest on October 18th, which every single one of you should go to, okay? Every single one of you should go to this, specifically because the administration is attacking it. Here is Representative Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, talking about it.
I'll turn it back over to the leader. We take some questions, but we've heard, and many of you have reported already, this Hate America rally that they have coming up for October 18th. The Antifa crowd and the pro-Hamas crowd and the Marxists, they're all going to gather on the mall. We got some House Democrats selling T-shirts for this event. It is an outrageous gathering for outrageous purposes, but the Democrats in the Senate have shown that they're...
Look, just real quick. Look at his like grin. He can't, like, he's lying through his teeth to such a degree that he like can't suppress a smile. Like, he's on the one hand trying to say that this is going to be a gigantic gathering of like Antifa Marxist terrorists, and like he's saying this is an imminent thing that is going to happen in a week. And he's just smiling like a Weasley little turd.
And they want to get rid of the commissary? That already has groceries sold at a lower cost and without sales tax for military families. That's practically guaranteeing breadlines infinitely.
Yeah, Lily loves stuff. I totally forgot about that story from the other day. But yeah, the Republicans want to essentially like end the military commissary so that like members of the military can no longer buy groceries on on military bases. It's not going to make them very many friends. Okay? Yeah, also understand the reason Mike Johnson is attacking the No Kings protests that are going to happen on October 18th. Again, something every one of you should go to, and every one of you should get your friends and family to go to alongside that, right? But the reason they're attacking it is because they are terrified of what it will signal from the American public. Because it essentially makes the polling data real. And we have an opportunity to show how many of us disagree with what this regime is doing. Okay? Not just members, military retirees have access to PX and commissary and live off fixed incomes. True, Eric McKetton, my bad. What is happening here is that they are scared of October 18th because of how deeply it could undermine their ability to project power and project this image of authoritarian, uniparty, right?
Obviously, they want to cut commissary because the military can't afford it with their limited budget.
Sake Tanuki, thank you for the 2 tier 1 subs. It is just plain simple. They are afraid. They are unambiguously afraid. Here's another clip of another member of the House, I believe. No, Senator. Senator Roger Marshall. Here we go.
And then October 18th is when the protest gets here. This will be a Soros paid-for protest where his professional protesters show up, the agitators show up. We'll have to get the National Guard out. Hopefully it'll be peaceful. I doubt it as well. So I think that they have to get that march done. They have to show their protest. They have to fight like they're saying here. This is all a political show. It's all a political scam right now. This is shooting. And then October...
Again, they have to try and frame it as, oh, it's a bunch of scary Antifa Marxist super soldiers, but also it's all paid for by George Soros and it doesn't really matter because it's just a show. Except that the reason they are trying to undermine the credibility of the protests is because they know that these protests are on track to be even bigger than the first No Kings, which was already one of the largest civil rights demonstrations in modern U.S. history, right? And so they want shit to go south during these protests. They want it really badly. But also, they're afraid of it because it has the potential to go so much worse for them. Because if they start firing live rounds into a crowd, guess what? They are going to be destroyed. Like, they're going to be destroyed. And if they try to say, oh, well, it might have been one of the largest mass demonstrations in U.S. history, but it's all paid for, it's going to ring ridiculously hollow. It undermines their credibility and legitimacy. Okay? And it does because, like, the people who are turning out to these protests are, like, mild-mannered school teachers and, like, I don't know, dump truck drivers and, like your local fruit vendors. They're people. They're just people. And the more of us that stand in solidarity together on that day, the better it's going to be for all of us. Because people are going to be hurt by this administration, and the longer it takes us to come together, the more people are going to be hurt, right? And I think that the organizers behind No Kings understand the power dynamics at play here. Here is their official statement that they put out. Today, House Speaker Mike Johnson blamed the peaceful No Kings Day of Action on October 18th for the ongoing government shutdown. After a few moments of laughter, the No Kings Coalition issued the following statement. Speaker Johnson is running out of excuses for keeping the government shut down. Instead of reopening the government, preserving affordable health care, or lowering costs for working families, he's attacking millions of Americans who are peacefully coming together to say that America belongs to its people, not to kings. We'll see everyone on October 18th. All No Kings events adhere to a shared commitment to nonviolent protest and community safety. Organizers are trained in de-escalation and are working closely with local partners to ensure peaceful and powerful actions nationwide. And this is, again, why it is so effective for people to turn up in, like, these inflatable frog suits. You know, like, Donald Trump earlier today went out and tried to paint, like, the protests against ICE as these unrelentingly violent events, right? Here he is.
Problem. Or Portland, Oregon. I mean, every time I look at that place, the place is burning down. There's fires all over the place. When a store owner, there are very few of them left, but when a store owner rebuilds a store, they build it out of plywood, and they don't put up storefronts anymore. They just put wood up because they know it's going to be ripped down. And then I hear how wonderful it is. It's not wonderful. It's a disaster. That's almost an insurrection, that place. So we...
Yeah, I forgot about the plywood district of Portland, Oregon. You know, you all are familiar, right? The famous parts of Portland that have been torn down by Antifa super soldiers so many times. They're only made out of plywood. Like, I'm sorry, just, like, stop and think about that for, like, 1 second, and it's, like, just on the face of it, it's stupid as hell, right? But this is the image he wants to put out there, that, like, oh, it's a violent place on the verge of insurrection. You know, it's basically burning down so often, we have to occupy it with the military. And... you know, like, again, it's really undermined by the fact that, like, the people who are turning out to protest are these people in frog costumes. You know? And I just for the record, you can get them off of off of the internet for like $30, and I got one, and it's gonna be here in time for the October 18th protest. So I would encourage you all to maybe look into buying a fun inflatable suit with some expedited shipping. All right. But also, just a little update. Nicholas Smith, the artist behind the Portland Frog picture many of you are familiar with here, released this. He made a bunch of different figures standing up to ICE in inflatables and wheelchairs and varying ages. And like, I'm sorry, this is the kind of energy we need. This is the fucking, like, yeah, no, this is actually like some fucking One Piece ass energy. All right, and we all need to embrace that energy, okay? Like, be silly, be non-threatening, make the protest fun, but also understand that when you go, you are doing something vitally important. Just because it's fun doesn't make it less important. Just because people are coming together and working for, you know, the betterment of one another's lives doesn't mean you can't have fun doing it. So, folks, the administration is threatening the No Kings protest on October 18th. Make no mistake about that. They are trying to intimidate people away from attending the protest. They do not want you to go. And I think for no other reason than that, you should go. Like, even if the administration wasn't doing the, you know, just endless sea of terrible things it is doing, you should go just to oppose it on principle. Just because they don't want you to exercise your free speech rights. So, folks, go over to nokings.org. If there isn't an event within 30 minutes of you, you can register your own event and get other people in your local area to come to yours. That is the goal. Right now, there are more places organizing than there were during the first No Kings protest by a wide margin. And the hope is that we are going to see an even bigger protest. Last time I believe it was around 5 or 6 million. Let's do even better. Let's get all the friends, all the family out there. Let's get some barbecues going. Let's get some like protest barbecues going. Let's get some like protest music going, protest dance going. Because these people desperately want to LARP out. You know, this administration desperately wants to LARP out that it is like this authoritarian superpower that can crush any dissent. And that's why they come out every day dressed like they are going to war. And it's much harder to go to war against a bunch of people in inflatable silly suits, dancing, having a good time, and eating good food. You know? Like, it's just harder for the narrative to go the way they want it to go. And that doesn't mean don't take it serious, but take having fun at the protest seriously. Because the protest is serious. You know? I'm gonna wear my Yoshi onesie? Hell yeah. Alright? That's what we need. This is the energy we need right now. And y'all, we need to deliver it. So, join me on October 18th, No King's Day. Let's get out on the streets and make our voices heard. Because this administration has plugged its ears for too long, and we need to bring down the walls of Jericho. Alright? So, let's get to work. And if you like this segment, like, comment, and subscribe. Do the thing. You know, do the thing that helps the show. And maybe consider dropping some subs, donos, memberships, super chats, etc. Because you guys make this show possible. Couldn't do it without your support. Thank you. Whew. There we go. Yeah, I mean, like, the old school way of doing a protest like this to demonstrate that you're not a threat is to, like, dress up in your Sunday best, you know? But, like, times have changed, and now it's no longer your Sunday best that demonstrates you're not a threat. It's a silly inflatable costume. I'm a cat, Jack. Can you teach me how to do the thing in song form, perhaps? Yeah, Ollie, if you're having a difficult time figuring out what to do, because we have been streaming for over an hour now, please remember that there's a very important thing that you have to do between the segments. And that thing is, you know, it has a couple of different steps. But we made a song about it to make it easy to remember. Here we go. Click the button, click the button, click the button, click the goddamn button, click the button, click the button, click the button, click the goddamn button, click the button, click the button, click the button, click the goddamn button, click the button, click the button, click the button, click the goddamn button, click the button, click the button, click the button, click the goddamn button, click the button, click the button, click the button, click the goddamn button, click the button, click the button, click the button, click the goddamn button, click the button, click the button, click the button. There we go. Also, yes, we do have the hip thrusting Portland frog as an emote over on Riverboat site. If you want to be on the on-screen chat, go to riverboat.gg, folks. Also, Irascended Kitten, thank you for the $10 dono. Very much appreciated. You guys are already up to 26 subs. Wonderful work, folks. Do you have any advice for people who haven't been to a protest of comparable size, particularly those who do not have anyone to go with? On the Discord, there is a there's a channel on the Discord titled Protests, I believe. And on that one, there is a pinned post that has a link to the thread where some of our experienced protest gurus have shared their advice. So if you want advice on how to be safe, and how to be prepared, that is where I would direct folks. Additionally, is the Antifa Roundtable just old news now? Kind of. Goddamn zone being too flooded. The issue is it was an hour and a half long, and I gotta be honest, it's effectively theater for the base and an attempt to cow the left into silence. That is my read on it, and I don't got time for that shit. Let's see. Just got a new pair of earbuds that customize their sound on a hearing test, and the song sounds fabulous. Excellent, G. Klein. I'm so glad. Whew. Now, folks, guess what I was doing during stream last night? Making cute emotes of a frog. Alright, let me exit out of some of these tabs. I gotta cull the tabs. I just don't want people feeling afraid to go out to these protests. Because, like, they're trying to make us afraid. And we just can't let them do that. We can't allow them to do that. God, there was a segment I was gonna do on Donald Trump's mental state. I think I covered that ground enough already. Like, here, let's just play this clip. Not even as a segment, just like to marvel at it for a moment.
Say don't take Tylenol if you're pregnant, and when the baby is born, don't give it Tylenol. If you can avoid it at all, just don't give it Tylenol.
I'll say this.
Really, what do you have to lose? You really don't have much to lose. Yeah, go ahead.
There's also there's many other confirmation studies. There's 2 studies that show children who are circumcised early have double the rate of autism. It's highly likely because they're given Tylenol. So, none of this is dispositive, but all of it is stuff that we should be paying attention to.
Yeah. Can we all just, like... Hold up, fucking what? Yeah, Donald Trump nodded along with RFK Jr. saying that circumcised babies have double the rate of autism. So, like, I'm sorry, this administration is deeply unserious. I was losing my shit laughing at work. I lost my shit when I first saw that too. Like, deeply unserious clowns.
Hey, love your stream. I hear Donald Trump is getting increasingly paranoid. He's even scared of stairs. He thinks they're up to something.
I really like that joke, the real Melon Lord. Thank you for the £5. Very much appreciated. Also, can we just, like... Donald Trump's brain is just gone, y'all. It's just fucking... I've said it before. I've said it.
That explains my 2 cousins who aren't vaccinated but still very much on the spectrum.
It's the only logical explanation. But, like, look at this.
Are you concerned about the delays at airports, and how do you see the shutdown?
Oh, sure. I mean, they're all Democrat delays. There are delays at the airport. That's standard. And again, this is something that every day we put forth a bill. It's just a continuation. It's a very simple thing to sign and very simple to do. And I really think that these are people that I think they have nothing to lose. They have a party that's out of control. They have no leader. Nobody knows who the leader is. I look at people with very low IQs like Crockett, this woman Crockett. I never met her, but she's a low IQ individual. I look at AOC talking about how if they want to negotiate, they can come to my office. She's not in that position to do that. And who the hell is she to say that? And then I watch Nancy Pelosi not knowing what to do. I watch.
Are you concerned?
So keep in mind, he was asked about airports. He was asked about airports, and he started talking about the IQ of black women. This man is done. Like, his brain has already crossed over to the afterlife, okay? Like, his body is just going through the motions at this point. It's nuts. What the fuck is he talking about? He's gone. He doesn't even know what he's talking about. This was like when he was asked about Charlie Kirk, and he just was like, "Ah, yeah, it's very sad. Anyway, look at those trucks. They're building a ballroom over there." Like, he's gone, guys. God. At the No Tyrants demonstration in Montreal, they are encouraging attendees to dress up like Trumpian clowns, orange face paint, floppy blonde wigs, oversized red ties. That's lovely, depraved ambiance. So is the amount of autism one has relative to how much foreskin was taken off? Little foreskin off the top, little sparkle of autism. Lots of foreskin off, extra sparkle of autism. You know, maybe so. Maybe so. You know, maybe... Oh, God. Fuck. It's just so stupid. It's just so fucking stupid. Every day. Every day. Also, you guys remember when Donald Trump, like, truthed out to Pam Bondi? Do you guys remember that? Well, the Wall Street Journal uncovered decisive proof that it wasn't, in fact, like, intended to be posted publicly. It was intended to be a private message. Because Donald Trump's brain is just cooked. He can't distinguish what should be private and what should be public anymore. Yeah, he's the leaker these days. He's leaking and then he's forgetting. They're doing Weekend at Trump's. Genuinely, yeah. I just, it's all fucking crazy. Here, one last thing.
It would be a terrible, terrible day. I can create peace with tariffs. I'm using them for a lot of different reasons. If that power was taken away from the President of the United States, it would be a terrible, terrible day for our country. And I would say many of the things that I've done could be eradicated, and the United States would be in a very, very bad, vulnerable position. And these are enemies of the country that are pursuing that lawsuit. And I
yeah, and look, people, if you oppose me being able to unilaterally impose tariffs, you're just an enemy of the country.
Would hope that that lawsuit would disappear. The country would be in a very different position than it is right now, and you wouldn't be stopping wars. You wouldn't be using the power of trade and the power of tariffs to stop wars. I've used it. I can create peace.
Yeah, basically he's saying, Supreme Court, please don't take away my tariff ability because, you know, I could maybe use it to do peace. Maybe. Anyway, here he is with Mark Carney, just like the next day.
We've been charged tariffs. Look, we're the king of being screwed by tariffs, just so you understand. And I'm not talking about with Canada. I'm talking about with countries all over the world. We've been charged.
Which is it, man? Which is it? Are you using tariffs to secure world peace, or are we being all collectively screwed? Which is it, man? You're the one imposing the fucking tariffs, you dipshit. The charges on the American people are being levied by you. God damn it. It's so frustrating every day to wake up and have to worry about what this clown is doing next. All right. Okay. I wish I was the king of being screwed. Ooh woo. Okay, I think he's saying other countries have been screwing the US with tariffs. That is what he's trying to say. But the irony is he's the one fucking the entire country over with tariffs, not other countries. This is literally that joke in SpongeBob where an old guy gets taught a lesson. How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man? It's true. It's true. Well, anyway. Let's dive in. Let's dive into this Metatron segment. You guys have been patient enough. We're already over a quarter of the way towards our next wheel spin. To see what kind of exciting new content you guys unlock. But let's dive into the one that I already owe you. Okay? We've been going for about an hour and a half. And folks, if you're enjoying the show, drop those subs, donos, memberships, super chats, etc. Because when we hit 100, I get to spin this handy dandy wheel again. And we can take Metatron off of this wheel. There we go. We can spin this wheel. Look what happens when you spin the wheel. Boom. We'd get a Zateo segment. We could learn all about something cool and new. Oh my god. That was a non-binding spin of the wheel, okay? Just to be clear, non-binding. Usually we could have gotten that next time. I know. I used up the good luck. Fixer at home, thank you for the $5 Australian. When do I get Metatron? We're about to do it right now. Saw a woman who is MAGA, but she's poly. I think her political support are against her private life and liberty, as MAGA don't like sex outside wedlock. What do you think? Yeah, nah. Like, sorry, the vast majority of MAGA would like to stone poly people to death, and I'm only exaggerating slightly. Like, genuinely. Like, we just talked the other day about a guy who is big in like Peter Thiel and like Ezra Klein and like Ross Dowdats circles that it like believes that like rape is preferable to cuckoldry, and like I feel like for the vast majority of MAGA people, polyamory is essentially just cuckoldry with extra steps. And like they want to punish that in the biblical sense too, you know? So yeah, it's kind of like how you get like LGBTQ, like, you know, MAGA folks. It is entirely against their best interests. But they just don't care because they think they're going to be one of the special ones. You know? Yeah, I'm not saying poly is bad, Comrade Girl. I'm just saying, like, MAGA folks generally are not pro polyamory. True, some of them do love the idea of many wives. It's true. Oof. All right, you guys ready to jump into the next segment? What about polygamy? Well, that's illegal. So they aren't a fan of that. Dave Rubin called and said, why don't they like me yet? Why won't Ben Shapiro bake me a cake yet? God. Media Breakdown, thank you for the $5 super chat. Very much appreciated. Bringing us up to 30% capacity. Tariffs that other countries impose harm American businesses, not American consumers, but Trump is the biggest business birthday boy. He doesn't care. It's true. Well, also, Trump's tariffs aren't even designed to, like, do specific things in the American economy. They're designed to just hurt Americans and extract money. It's designed to be a regressive tax, essentially. All right, here we go, folks.
Well, Netflix show Coco.
All right.
Right. So.
All right. There we go. So, all right, here we go. So, folks, we gotta talk about a content creator or two. That's right. We're actually gonna be talking about two different content creators today. One called Metatron, and the other called Asmongold, because you know, that's just how it is sometimes when you gotta talk about two different channels with millions of subscribers. So let's dive into it, shall we? The title of this Metatron video is Netflix is Indoctrinating Your Children. Let's take a look, shall we?
I'm safe when I'm with my friends or other non-binary people.
This is the same one?
Nightshades pronouns are they, them. He or she just doesn't fit who I am.
Is this another one? Oh my god.
Gosh.
Oh my god. What? Oh wait, later on this video.
Yeah, and they're saying this for
is all a trailer.
7-year-olds and above.
That's crazy.
No.
No.
7-year-olds need to be
No.
introduced to this ideology. No, they don't.
Ho ho ho. That's right, folks. We're reacting to a react to a react. That's right. That's the state of YouTube in 2025. Let's go.
Noble ones. The king is back. This requires celebration. I'm gonna get 2 helmets. We got the king in the house. We need 2 helmets. There you go. You can kind of see it.
Who's the king? Are you fucking talking about Asmongold? The guy who like wipes tooth blood on his wall and has like a rotting rat that wakes him up every morning with its stench when it is hit by the sun? Are you talking about the guy who had to like throw away half his bedding because it was covered in mold? Are you talking about the guy who had like roaches crawling over his like streaming setup? Is that the king?
Welcome home, Your Majesty. Alright guys, so apparently Netflix made a mistake. What's new? What's new?
Well, Netflix show Cocomelon features interracial gay dads attempting to raise a baby as transgender who make the toddler dance for them in drag. I mean,
now, what's interesting here, I'm just going to stop this right now because I guess I guess Metatron has just like completely given up trying to like introduce videos or talk about a subject at all. He's just watching like Asmongold clips. Like, and like, dude, that's gonna do something nasty to your brain. But number two, I gotta talk about what Asmongold is showing on screen. I'm gonna keep getting them mixed up because they're basically interchangeable in my mind. But he's showing a tweet from Ian Miles Chong. Now, Ian Miles Chong here has embedded a video of a show called Coco Melon. And Coco Melon's gay dads that's been a thing already. Conservatives already milked this for everything it was worth less than a year ago. Less than a year ago. It wasn't like, it was like last year that they were getting upset that Coco Melon had 2 gay dads. It's crazy. But I also wanted to note one other thing here, which is that particular tweet has a sentence that Asmongold didn't read, which is Ian Miles Chong saying, "This is the woke version of Baka Bazi."
Oh no, not the gay dad milking.
Oh God. Sake Tanuki, thank you for the 5 tier-1 subs. And oh God, jeez. Jeez. But what is a Baka Bazi or Bacha Bazi? All right, let's look that up, shall we? Let's see. The Wikipedia page says it is a pederastic practice in Afghanistan and in historical Turkestan in which men exploit and enslave adolescent boys for sexual abuse. So, you know, it's just really interesting that no one's really touching on that aspect here.
And there's no way this is real, right? I mean, like, there's no way.
like they're basically like Ian Miles Chong is saying this is like a modern day, like they're making a cartoon about these 2 men sexually assaulting their son, and like that's pretty fucked up, and no one is talking about that whatsoever. They show it on screen but just leave it completely unaddressed.
It's got to be fake.
Thing that we know about you, you love to get up and dance. How about you break out those moves for your 2 biggest fans?
I'm sorry, it took me a second to figure this one out. This is made for kids. Oh, for
oh no. It took you a minute to figure that out? Dude, it's literally Coco Melon. Like, I'm sorry. This is like, oh man, I don't even know. I don't even know how to even contextualize this appropriately. Okay, you know what? I figured it out. I figured it out.
I feel like this is yet another example of projection, and it scares me a little.
Here you go.
Hi, friends! I'm so excited to learn with you today.
Wait a minute.
Look, it's a present.
Wait a minute. I'm starting to think that this isn't content made for an adult. Wait a minute. Is Miss Rachel's content for children? I thought potty training with Miss Rachel, toddler learning video, potty songs for toddlers, potty song, was gonna be for big boys and girls and non-binary pals. Wait a minute, is this for children? I feel bamboozled. That's Metatron right now. Also, unironically, if you do have young children that are struggling to learn how to use the potty, that video slaps because she gets like the cast of like Broadway's Aladdin to sing potty show tunes with her, and it's delightful.
If you're not sure what to choose, think about all the things you like to do.
My favorite part about this is they gave the black guy the Killmonger haircut.
Uh-huh.
You didn't have to do that. This is how you... By the way, this haircut is how you know this was made by white women. Guaranteed. Everybody knows it. I'm just gonna say it.
You know, just out of curiosity... Just out of curiosity, I know nothing about Coco Melon. It was created by Jay Jean in 2006. Okay, but like it doesn't tell me anything about like who makes it. Okay, whatever.
It's so obvious.
Yeah.
Think about all the things you like to do.
Uh-huh.
Just be you.
Just be me.
Just be you.
When you're trying.
Can we just take a moment here that these two men are just like, without actually adding anything of substance to this.
Coco Melon, when Chanel decided to grow big tits.
Sake Tanuki, thank you for the 2 tier 1 subs. But like, these two men are just listening to this song and being like, huh, yeah, I bet this was made by white women. And like, that's their most significant criticism. Like, yeah, they're low-key vibing to Coco Melon.
To decide, think
Man.
about all the things you like to do. Just be you.
That's right, guys, because if you like girl things, it means that you're actually a girl.
So, yeah.
No, that's not what that means. The song is literally about not imposing gendered expectations on their child. So, like, my God, like, you watched the video clip.
It's so obvious.
Like,
yeah.
Think about all the things you like to do.
Uh-huh.
Just be you.
Like, the child holds up, like, a frog costume and, like, a pilot costume.
What do you expect? It's made for their developmental level.
I mean, it really is. Like, oh, on the one hand, a tiara. On the other hand, a firefighter's helmet. And it's like, the song is about just, like, do what you want to do. Like, just do what you want to do. Like, you can put on the tiara if you're a boy. That's fine. Or you can put on the firefighter hat if you're a girl. That is also fine. Like, these aren't difficult concepts, but somehow this cartoon that is made for, like, 3-year-olds is eluding them. They lack the analytical skills to actually understand a cartoon made for 3-year-olds. It is insane. Like, no. Like, the issue, and Sake Tanuki, I do thank you for the 2 tier 1 subs, but, like, it wasn't made for their developmental level, because if it was, they would understand it, and they don't understand it. So clearly, this was made for above their developmental level. They just never, like, got past 2 years old mentally, you know?
Just be you.
When you're trying to decide.
Huh. Yeah. They're choosing between a tiara or a beanie with a propeller on it. Clearly the two genders. Clearly the two genders illustrated.
Man.
Next they'll be saying, hey, wait a minute. The words that are floating on the screen aren't actually there. Otherwise, the characters would be hitting into them.
Just be you.
That's right, guys, because if you like girl things, it means that you're actually a girl.
So yeah,
that's not what the song is about. The song is just about being yourself. God damn it.
yeah, exactly. So basically, clearly a case of political indoctrination. We know that they've been pushing propaganda for years.
How? How is make an argument. Metatron, make an argument for what you're saying. Like, make a couple of, like, points that indicate that this is clearly propaganda. Because, like, you're not even doing that. You're just playing a clip of Asmongold playing a clip, and then saying, yeah, that's clearly propaganda without elaborating on it in any way. Like, what about that was clearly propaganda?
Have been fighting it ever since the times of freaking Cleopatra, that was represented, not just her as black, but her entire family as black. False, they were Greeks. I will say it until I'm dead. Sue me. Oh, it's Coco Melon. And now it makes sense.
Imagine being fucking aggrieved about Cleopatra in the year 2025. You just watched Coco Melon, seemingly for the first time, not realizing it's for, like, newborns, infants, and you're like, ah yes, this is just like Cleopatra. In what way? Draw the trajectory of that for us a little bit.
Coco Melon is diabolical. I've already covered them, link in the description.
That's right. So if you like gardening, you're a girl. If you like cooking, you're a girl. Surprise! If you like...
Hey, Asmongold, where are you getting that from, that song? You played 30 seconds of a song that said be yourself, and you're, like, ranting about, like, literally the exact opposite of what the video is saying, which is that, like, just be you, like the things you like, and you're saying that that song is actually about forcing children into binary understandings of gender. That's not what it's about.
If you like makeup, you're a girl. If you like wearing a dress, you're a girl.
They first deny gender roles, and then they utilize the very gender-low stereotype in order to push the idea of a tomboy doesn't exist.
Oh my god, okay. Let's unpack that, because Metatron doesn't know what he's talking about.
Dress, you're a girl.
They first deny gender roles, and then they utilize the very gender-low stereotype in order to push...
Okay. They first deny gender roles. Nowhere in this video, this 30-second song about being yourself, are they denying gender roles. They're just two dads telling their kid, like what you like. We're not gonna judge you for it. And then, like, the kid is shown deciding what they like, and that's fine. That's actually great. Right? That's not denying that gender roles exist.
First deny gender roles, and then they utilize the very gender-low stereotype in order...
This has the same energy as the Golden Rule's lyrics. This rule goes back to ancient Greece, talking about Caesar.
It really does. Oh god. So, I'm sorry, I can already tell this is gonna hurt my brain. I'm gonna lose some brain cells here, folks. But then they utilize the very gender law stereotype.
Push the idea of a tomboy doesn't exist. The female is actually a transgender boy. In other...
Well, No, because a transgender like boy or a transgender girl are different from a tomboy. Like, what's crazy is they're making these arguments that like, oh man, girls can like trucks, boys can like makeup. Well, it doesn't make them transgender. And like, as a transgender far left individual, that yes, that's true. Liking non-stereotypical things doesn't make you transgender. But also, and I'm gonna throw out this mind-blowing fact for you folks, transgender girls can also be tomboys. Like, transgender girls can like stereotypically masculine things. Like, that's obviously true. Like, that's you can't be a woman and like boats. It's impossible. And like, they're the ones making the argument like man, they are scrambled, and by extension they are scrambling me.
Words, he has just defeated the entirety of the inner logic of their argument.
Oh god, he's putting Asmongold on an intellectual pedestal? Guys, if you ever see someone put Asmongold on a pedestal and think that he's like good at arguing, he's not. Asmongold might be the dumbest man on YouTube, and I'm being serious about that. Or at least I thought he was the dumbest man on YouTube until I found out other people think he's like an intellectual giant. This is crazy. Yeah, never put Asmongold on a pedestal. He'll mold immediately.
It's so interesting to me that the people who always preach about gender identity and gender being a spectrum always assume that anytime that a kid shows an interest in something of the opposite gender, that the spectrum automatically goes to trans. Isn't that
well, if gender is a spectrum, then by definition at some point on that spectrum trans people exist, right? But also trans people and like people who acknowledge that trans people exist aren't saying that if a child, like if a boy likes playing with dolls, he's actually a trans girl. Like that's not what trans people are saying, because it turns out gender's more complicated than that. i.e., sometimes a boy just likes playing with dolls. That can happen. And sometimes that boy, over time, starts saying to their mom and dad, like, hey, I would like to be called a girl. And that them asking for that is not because they play with dolls, it's because they identify differently than what they were assigned at birth. And that's the transness. That's a different thing than, oh, they like stereotypical girl things. The weird thing is, Asmongold here is tilting against the conservative understanding of gender that both he and Metatron share. It's nuts, dog.
Interesting and weird?
Yeah.
I think that's crazy. Why is that? Why is it that
Yeah.
every single, like, if gender is such a massive spectrum, then why is every kid that shows an interest in something that's feminine automatically trans?
They're not. That's just not how it works. No, like you don't have parents going like, my precious
I personally really
boy.
appreciate the Harvest Dawn Oblivion NPC track in the background.
Right? I didn't even have to add that, Sake Tanuki. They're playing the NPC track behind themselves. It's honestly so on the nose. I had to make sure that I didn't leave like a tab open somewhere.
Every kid that shows an interest in something that's feminine automatically trans.
They're not. That's not how it works. You know, like, even in Asmongold's, like, mind, how he thinks it works is that, like, a kid plays with dolls once, and, like, the parent, the far left liberal socialist parents go, "My boy, my precious boy, you're playing with dolls. We need to bring you to the gender surgeon." And then they, like, bring their child to the gender surgeon, and they're like, "Make my boy a girl. He played with dolls." And then, like, the gender surgeon, it, like, takes out rusty implements, and suddenly the boy is transed into a trans girl, and then has to play with dolls. Like, that's how they think this works, when in reality, how it actually works, for anyone who's remotely curious, like, a kid has to, like, come to their parents and be like, I think I am a girl. And then the parents go, "Okay, we'll schedule an appointment with your doctor." And so they bring their kid to the doctor, and then the general practitioner asks some basic questions. And if, like, it seems like this identification is persistent, they refer to a gender specialist. And that gender specialist then meets with that kid over time to establish that, in fact, there is a consistent identification with the opposite gender, or with a different gender, because the entire purpose of the medical field at this point is to make sure that kids are consistent and understand, like, what, if they choose to go down this road, what the stakes might be, right? So establishing that consistency is very important, because they don't want to do the wrong thing, right? Doing the wrong thing in this scenario, whether, like, it turns out, like, the person was actually cis or trans, doing the wrong thing can have hugely negative ramifications for, like, the rest of their lives. And so you establish consistency, and then if, like, a kid is, like, 7 or 8 or 9, nothing happens. Like, there's not a medical intervention that occurs. You are just meeting with a gender specialist to evaluate consistency in identification. Because nothing happens until puberty starts. And then you go to that gender specialist and you're like, "Can we get puberty blockers so that we can have more time to make this decision?" And then the gender specialist goes, "Sure, okay, here are some puberty blockers." And then you can take those puberty blockers. You know, maybe, let's say puberty for this kid starts at 10. You can take those puberty blockers for, like, and honestly, for, like, usually around 6 years if you're 10, like, until you're 16, or you can even take it longer if you haven't, like, made a firm choice by the time you're 16. But regardless, when you stop taking the puberty blockers, either your body resumes the puberty it was going to do initially, or your body, like, you start taking HRT and you have, you know, the correct puberty. So, like, this is how that works in a general sense. It is not, "Oh, my kid played with dolls, they must be trans." That's not how this works at all. Okay? At all. Sorry, Jack, I feel I gotta ask, are you laying out the ideal scenario despite not having experienced it yourself? No, I have worked with children's hospitals in the past. I am laying out how that process actually functions. Right? There are going to be outliers to how that process functions, of course, but by and large, this is how that process works for children. You need parental consent. You're not, like, having, like, a 10-year-old getting puberty blockers on the down low. You're not having, like, a 12-year-old going in for surgery. Like, that's just not happening. Like, your kid isn't, like, sneaking off to Planned Parenthood and coming back with double Ds. And like conservatives act like this is the case all the time. We're seeing it in this video right now. Like, for those of you who don't know, I worked with a children's charity for like almost a decade, helping like sick and injured kids get, access to medical care that they needed by fundraising in the gaming community, right? And part of what got funded with that money were gender clinics at children's hospitals. So, like, I know a thing or two about what I'm talking about. But here we go. Believe it or not, chat, we are only 4 minutes into this video.
Based. Let me have a drink.
What is this? It seems like there's a little bit of a logic gap here, right? What is that? And anyway, it's discrimination? Well, I don't know.
Well, Maxwell DeGroat, the reason the straightforward process doesn't seem to be happening for everyone is because conservatives are constantly out there spreading that misinformation, and or like parents fight it because a lot of parents are not supportive of their trans kids, and that is a deeply sorrow-inducing fact.
Anyway, so this is another one here, and this is another kids show on Netflix. Let's watch this one.
Okay, yeah, look, we got libs of TikTok here, and instead of posting like an actual clip of the show, it's like a film of the TV. Like they're just using their phone to film the TV, because that's just the level we're operating on these days.
I don't know. Oh, it gets worse. Of course. Wow, I would have never expected
what did I just
that.
see?
Sorry, I gotta turn down this music.
Oh, what did I just see, man? What did I just see? What is that? I can't tell. Is that a show for adults?
This is really important for us to hear this dialogue. I'm sure it's going to be amazing.
It's okay. It's Oblivion. We'll forgive you.
I like Sailor Moon. Does that make me a girl? Yeah, it is. Go to your go talk to your doctor tomorrow, and you should start your transition immediately.
Extremely dangerous, by the way, form of propaganda, and I think everyone knows.
But no one is arguing that liking Sailor Moon means you're trans. That's not... Like, I'm sorry. The breakthrough realization for me, right? For me realizing that I was a trans woman and not just, like, a dude who liked Sailor Moon, for me was when I realized, oh, wait. Cis men don't constantly feel sad and upset that they aren't women. That's like, if you're feeling that all the time, that is not that's kind of like the biggest indicator that you are not cisgender. All right? I don't know what you might be. You might be like non-binary of some kind. You might be a trans woman. Who knows? But like, if you think you're a cis man and you are constantly sad that you are not a woman, that's a pretty good indicator you're not a cis man, right? It wasn't that I liked Sailor Moon. They're relitigating 2020 Fox News transphobia. It is true. They've basically unearthed a bunch of like old like shows that had LGBTQ representation.
I believe we're kind of on the same line between when it comes to me and Asmongold, but when it comes to consenting adults, I don't care. You can do whatever you want. You can identify whatever you want. Live your life. I don't care. Unless you're one of those who tries to push me and force me into policing my language, then we're going to have a problem. But as long as you are someone who is, you just want to live your life however you want, I don't care. But when it's children, that's where we draw the line.
Start it as soon as possible.
When it's children, you should force them to be what you want them to be. That's the ideal thing to do to children. Just impose your will upon them and turn them into miniature recreations of yourself. That's definitely healthy, bro.
That's true, though disappointing.
Hey, it's okay. I know unsafe when I'm with my friends or other non-binary people.
Non-binary?
To a
Does
computer.
anybody not see the irony in talking to a machine, a computer, and then trying to tell it that it's non-binary?
Yeah, but if you understood the franchise at all, you would know that Transformers don't operate on binary code. Because they come from a fucking alien planet where they're animated by the Allspark. It's not, they aren't fucking people with DNA. They don't have binary code. God damn it. They're fucking aliens, dude.
Suppose if it was a quantum computer, at least there wouldn't be irony in it.
Am I the...
It's not irony. If you're talking about transforming vehicles. Like, I'm sorry, even if you're talking about a binary computer, even if you're talking about a binary computer with ones and zeros, right? Even if you grant that they have that coding inside of their bodies, they're literally machines that can transform themselves to look like basically anything they want. What the leader of the Autobots transforms into a fire truck. What do you... Or a semi. I forget. What does Optimus Prime transform into? It doesn't matter. Like, the point being, I guess like you've got like Dinobots. You've got like the not the Animorphs. There's so many different kinds of Transformers. A semi. Okay. A fireman's truck, indeed. Yeah, Beast Wars. You've got so many different kinds of these creatures, and you're going out there and you're saying, oh yeah, no, they have to be men or women. You know Optimus Prime.
That's why it's called Transformers, not Sisformers.
Matthew H, thank you for the $10 Australian. But like, can you, like, basically they're like, yeah, Optimus Prime has a dick though. And like, can you imagine anything more off-putting or weird? Like, yeah, somewhere on Optimus Prime's body, he just has a gigantic metal dick because he's a man. He's a man. Autobots and Decepticons, they only have two genders, guys. Semi-trucks are boys. Everyone knows this.
The only person that, like, I mean, this is like meta. It's it's not trans.
It's meta commentary. Oh, yes, it's so, yeah, this children's cartoon is so deep. It's doing meta commentary.
Transformer, right? I mean, no. Okay, being trans and being non-binary are two different things.
No, they're not. No, they're not. Like, non-binary people are trans. Being trans just means identifying as a different gender than what you were assigned at birth. That's it. That's it.
That's different. And so yeah, I don't know. Like that's crazy to me. But anyway, let's look at this.
I would like to underline one thing just for you, since we're talking about logical consistency. I just read an entire article the other day that was telling us about how it is important to disrupt and remove the concept of binary from society, of course, when they talk about gender. And they kept telling us, because binary is bad, binary, we need to remove binary. And then they keep, of course, talking about gender spectrum and people that are non-binary. Here's the problem with that, though.
Uh-huh.
If you think that the problem is binary concepts, then I do get it that male and female is a binary concept. However, binary and non-binary is also a binary concept.
That doesn't undermine the point. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. Okay. Yeah, okay. But like that doesn't actually have anything to do with talking about a gender spectrum, man. Like speaking of logic, I was reading a very in-depth paper the other day. It was about how you could either wipe your ass or not wipe your ass. But I said, what about if you only partially wipe your ass? Checkmate, ass wipers! And then I moved on with my day. Like, what? That had just about as much to do with what we were talking about as what he brought up.
So there's that.
God.
People who aren't female or male. Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have assumed.
I always knew my pronouns felt right.
Pronouns.
What a wonderful
You all use pronouns. God damn it.
word for a wonderful experience.
So this is for kids.
Yeah. Oh, no, wait.
So Transformers, huh? It's for children? Huh. Who would have thought? Insidious.
I don't know why. I just figured this one out now. I mean, I'm slow, I guess. Of all the cartoons that they could have chosen to push transgender ideas into children, they went with the Transformers?
Black and white are a binary concept, but some people say other colors exist. But have you considered green and black are also a binary concept?
He's so dumb. He's so dumb. Literally, you guys have been making jokes about that in chat the entire time. The entire time since the second Transformers came on screen. And he's just like... just now, wait a minute. Trans and Transformers? What? God damn it. Nomi Sunrider, thank you for the $5 super chat. This is truly trying me in every conceivable way. Wait a minute. Is this a show for children?
Oh, come on.
Wait, can we just take a look here, right? Transformers Earthspark. So, just to give you guys an idea of how deeply unserious these people are, they are getting angry actively at a show that came out in 2022. It has 3 seasons, chat. It's been around for 3 years. And they're just now deciding to be mad at 1 minute out of... 1 minute of footage out of 3 seasons of television. Can we watch that instead? You can watch it if you subscribe to Paramount Plus, I think.
The Transformers. You got to be joking.
Can, like, please, for the love of God, like, I know it's not going to go this way, but I would love if it jogged, like, some kind of self-awareness from this guy. Because he keeps saying Transformers. Transformers. Alien beings that can transform their bodies into any kind of configuration, up to and including terrestrial vehicles. I wonder if they have a more nebulous understanding of gender than human beings. Like, do they have like in I don't know, in Transformer society, do they have like car genders and boat genders? Like, are the different vehicles you transform into is that equivalent to like their gender on like their home planet? Wait till he finds out about the Beast Transformers. It's a slippery slope. First they start you out with the human Transformers, but then they start telling you that the car Transformers are all right. And then they start putting out the airplane Transformers, and pretty soon the airplane and the dinosaur Transformers are doing it with the Beast Transformers. Degeneracy unparalleled.
Mark, can you switch,
This is the same one?
Nightshades pronouns are they, them. He or she just doesn't fit who I am. My apologies. Please switch their piece.
Do 10 push-ups.
I've seen this one before.
Imagine being upset at the interaction that Optimus Prime just demonstrated. Where Optimus Prime is like pauses because he's not sure what to say, and then they're like, oh, I use they them pronouns. He and she just don't feel right to me. And Optimus is just like, oh, sorry. Give them their piece. Like, it's that simple, and these grown-ass adult men are incapable of doing what Optimus Prime just modeled in a show made for children.
So people are canceling a lot of their Netflix subscriptions. This really isn't that big of a surprise.
Yeah.
You know, again, I think this kind of stuff is very weird. And I think also, do parents really want to have that kind of stuff in kids' stories? I mean, I don't
Absolutely
really
not.
think so.
Do parents really want diverse people to be represented in their media? I don't think so. This is the rhetoric of like a white supremacist from like the 1930s. Okay, this is the rhetoric of someone who like shits themselves in rage because there's an interracial couple in a Cheerios commercial. Something that actually did happen like 10 or 15 years ago. I remember it because I thought it was so absolutely bizarre that conservatives were so mad that an interracial couple would be in a Cheerios commercial. And yet, you know, a lot of them are racist.
I think it's pretty obvious. And this is also another big issue is that, like, if I was a parent and I was watching this, I would be uncomfortable just for the sheer reason that it's very obvious that they're trying to push this idea onto very, very young people, onto kids.
This idea being what? This idea that you should treat other people with kindness and respect, even when they're different from you? Like what is the objectionable thing here? Conservatives are bitch made. It's true. Thank you for the $5 Canadian, worshipper of Olympians.
And it's like trying to teach kids trigonometry whenever they don't understand multiplication, or they don't even understand adding and subtracting. Like, it's not that, like, the idea of being trans or non-binary. Like, if somebody is like an adult and they have some idea in their mind, like, I usually generally try to respect what other people do and what they...
I usually try and respect trans people's pronouns, like Optimus Prime there, but like if they're a child, I wouldn't do that. It's like a weird ass take. But also, can we back this up real quick?
They want to believe.
Like, it's interesting that he brings up adding and subtracting, right? Like, oh, you're trying to teach kids trigonometry before they've even learned how to add and subtract. Are you... Are you trying to say that children... Like being trans is too complicated an idea for children to wrap their heads around? Because that's not true. It's actually, like, you just saw Optimus Prime model the correct response in the show, demonstrating that it's not too complicated. Because it turns out treating people with respect isn't rocket science, and it's not trigonometry. It's not even addition and subtraction. It's more basic than that, actually. Like, the fundamental building block of humanity itself is being able to work together for the greater good, and working together necessitates being able to treat other people who are different than you with respect. It is literally the most fundamental skill to be a human being. But they don't get it.
The idea of being trans or non-binary, like if somebody is like an adult and they have some idea in their mind, like I usually generally try to respect what other people do and what they want to believe,
freedom,
and how they want to see themselves. It's up to...
Man, I'm so glad Metatron has so many unique and incredible insights to share in these videos. He's doing like what great contributions to the overall ideas in this video.
To them, right? They're going to do what they want to do.
Agreed.
And I'm not telling you you have to accept it or anything like that. I'm just telling you, like, I don't want to get in at the end of the day, I don't want to get in an argument with somebody who thinks they're trans, trying to tell them what pronouns they need to use, okay?
Who cares?
I have so...
Sanford Neighborhood Watch. The greater good.
The greater good. I like that, like, several of you made that joke. It was... I like that we're all on the same page. The greater good. But like, just real quick. So, Asmongold just doesn't want to get into the argument, but he does think he should be able to tell trans people what pronouns to use. Like, in his ideal world, he's like the gender czar who gets to like assign people pronouns.
So many more things in my life that I give a fuck more about, that's not even in my top 50, okay? So I'm not going to waste my time arguing about this, etc. Adults, sure, but leave the children alone. Yes, exactly, right? And it would
damn right
make me uncomfortable as a parent when I knew that, for example, like the amount of stuff that like my kid is watching is being made by adults in order to normalize a certain gender ideology. Like,
not only that, but they are...
But like, you already have almost all media made by adults to normalize a gender ideology. It's just that the gender ideology that has been normalized for so long is heteronormative, like, gender stereotypes. Like, that is already the dominant ideology. It's why, like, but when Buzz Lightyear, the Buzz Lightyear movie has lesbians, they like, the studio is like scared to like make them too important to the movie. It's because they're scared of going against the dominant gender ideology of heteronormativity. Like, that's like the media already has an ideological bent to it, and it is one that studios have traditionally enforced by censoring content creators. But like, these guys don't actually want to do a deep dive on this topic or talk about it at all in any degree of depth. It's all surface level bullshit. And like, you know, if Asmongold is surface level, I guess Metatron is like in a hovercraft. Like, he's so against like digging down into any of this that he's just like hovering above the ground.
Imagine this. So your children get this at school since very young. That's the teachers are pushing this like maniacs. Same teachers, by the way, now are getting fired, luckily, because of course they laughed at the death of Charlie Kirk.
Oh, okay. All right. So your kids, imagine this, your kids go to school where they're learning that gay people exist and trans people are in the world and should be respected as equals and peers. Imagine that. Imagine if your children were taught that gays and trans people were human beings. Like, what? Okay. That sounds like a good thing, though.
Then they come home and you just leave them in front of the TV.
Well, also, wait. Teachers aren't being fired en masse because they laughed at the death of Charlie Kirk. And the ones that did get fired are now getting fat settlements from their schools because it's clearly a violation of their free speech rights.
It's just really a situation to see how much you need to really monitor what your kids are watching. And then they continue.
Well, yeah, you should be a good parent and pay attention to what your kids are watching. You know, if you just leave a child alone with the YouTube app, there's a non-zero chance that they could wind up stumbling across a Metatron video or an Asmongold video, and that's gonna fuck them all the way up.
The indoctrination, and by the time the kid is ready to go to bed, the seed in their mind has already been planted. Give it a year. Your child will think you're a bigot.
The seed of respecting people different from them will be planted in their mind, and suddenly one day they'll grow up to be slightly older children who realize that you actually want to discriminate against the gays and the trans people. And that will make them wrong for calling you a bigot. Somehow.
Not only that, but we know that the aim of this, at the end of the day, is to push them towards the surgeries. And when it comes...
What are you talking about? At no point in any of this have any of those cartoon characters talked about surgeries. At no point in any of that. Like, do you understand how big of a self-report it is that saying that your child being taught how to show and demonstrate basic respect and decency towards people different than them would make them realize you're a bigot? Do you have any idea how big of a self-report that is? Dude!
So the activists and the radical leftists that do this, don't for a second think that they actually do it because they care about that minute portion of the population that is actually suffering from gender dysphoria. Absolutely not. They're doing it, one, for social control, because of course if they can indoctrinate kids in any way, shape or form, at the end of the day they'll end up voting for them. It's a matter of power.
What are you talking about? The trans people are teaching children to respect others so that they can get votes? So that trans people can win elections? What are you talking about?
Power, the societal redistribution of power balance, and recruitment into the cult. This is what it is. Because the...
What cult? You've already acknowledged that trans people are real. You just did that. What cult are you talking about? I'm sorry, like, as a trans person who makes content on YouTube and puts up with an awful lot of transphobic bullshit on a day-to-day basis, what superpower do I have in society? Is my superpower that I can't feel safe going to some states in the United States? Is that my superpower? Is my superpower being worried every time I go through TSA? Eat the poo-poo cult? I mean, that is genuinely the level these guys are operating on, Sake Tanuki. Thank you for the 2 tier 1 subs. Like, is my superpower just, like, being discriminated against by bigots? Is my superpower having freakish segments made of 2 middle-aged men going through, like clips of children's shows to talk about how those shows teaching children to show basic respect and decency is going to destroy Western civilization? Is that my superpower, that I get just a billion identical clips like this? It's just terrible superpower.
Numbers are insane, and it's clearly a social contagion. No way you're gonna. I do believe that
it's clearly a social contagion. Yeah, man, it's treating people with respect. It's a real disease. Clearly.
There are some people who are genuinely suffering from gender dysphoria, but the numbers are multiplying, and it's a social contagion now. That's what it is. That's what the data says.
That's not what the data says. There's literally nothing that demonstrates social contagion being a thing. What the data actually indicates is that as it has become safer for trans people to come out of the closet, more trans people have come out of the closet. And that is not a shocking fact in the slightest. Like, we've seen similar trends in, like, left-handedness, for example. Like, oh, we stopped beating children and treating them like they were of the devil for being left-handed, and suddenly there were more left-handed people. That's crazy. Wild.
Just, it's a fundamentally very weird thing, and I think it's also like just really like, you know, parents need to be having this conversation with a kid. You know, like a school.
Also, just to note here, it's going to be important later. On screen centered here, you have MAGA voice breaking after Elon Musk told his 226 million followers he's canceling Netflix. The trend has gone viral of people posting their cancellation. It's time to cancel and boycott Netflix.
Needs to be having this type of conversation with a kid. Like, there's a reason why interactions with children about sexual topics are so highly controversial, taboo, and limited.
Or rather than taboo, I mean, I agree with him, of course, up to this point, but I would like to say, no, they just need to be age appropriate. It's as simple as that.
Right? It's like if you're a teacher and you're teaching kids this, you have to go through a bunch of different, like, you have to be a teacher. Obviously, it's hard to do. There's a lot of oversight for this. There's like a ton of people talking about how to do it in the right way.
Yeah.
And so when you just take all of that and you ignore it and you just make a TV show and you just say, hey, if you were addressed, you're a girl, I think that you're kind of skipping a lot of steps there, right? And yeah, schools should not. I think that schools should do sex education, and I think that schools probably should teach kids at least about being gay, like that it happens and that it exists.
Oh shit, I was muted. Yeah, teaching kids that like gay people and trans people exist and that treating them with respect is the right thing to do. He believes that should be taught in schools. That's great. But that was exactly the same thing that was being done in those shows we just looked at.
Exists.
And that you shouldn't bully another kid if the kid happens to be gay. I'm okay with that.
Oh, how magnanimous of you, sir, to not want children who are gay to be bullied. But if they're trans, though, the bullying builds character for some reason.
But this is not that. This is not sexual education. This is political indoctrination.
I'm not saying...
Yeah, this isn't sexual education. It's not like knowing that trans people exist and that there are options for kids who are trans and having like the social supports as a trans person, like lower the suicide rate of trans people down to being on par with cisgender kids. It's not like that, right? It's not like trans kids are like 14 times more likely to attempt suicide than cis kids. And by just giving them basic social supports and a community of respect, that suicide rate can be brought down to parity with, cisgender kids. Oh wait, no, that's exactly the case. That's exactly the case. If a kid has just one supportive parent, like their suicidality goes down to become on par or lower than cisgender kids. Likewise, if a kid has a supportive environment and they are trans, turns out their risk of suicide goes down. The risk of self-harm goes down. The risk of them being abused goes down. It is like fostering this type of community and this type of mindset is to protect kids who are different. To protect trans kids. And like, frankly, if you are against that, then you are just in favor of child abuse, which is nuts. But that's what these guys are arguing for.
Like for them to say like, oh yeah, like if you've ever, you know, liked a guy a lot and you're a guy, it means that you're automatically gay. But they should teach, like, I think school, it's the same, I think schools should teach about sexuality. I think they should teach about religion, because I think schools, their responsibility is to prepare a kid for the real world, right?
Yeah, and you know what else is in the real world? Trans people. Trans people exist in the world. And like, kids need to learn that trans people exist. Like, and like, I don't even mean in like they need to learn about trans people in health class, though that is definitely a part of it, but they also need to learn, if you're doing like world history, you need to learn about the fact that other cultures around the world have had more than 2 genders. For like as far back as human history goes. These guys like are big ass baby men here. And they're like, "Oh, well, I don't want kids learning about trans people in school. It's indoctrination." It's like, I'm sorry, is it indoctrination to talk about the fact that India, one of the most populous countries on the face of the earth, has a history, has, first of all, a recognized third gender in the form of the Hijra, but not only that, the Hijra are in written documentation going back 4,000 years and more. 2,000 years before the birth of Christ, there are documented like non-binary people. So like these, like, if you don't want kids learning about trans people, you don't want them learning accurate history, which I would have thought, given the content of the Metatron video we covered last time, Metatron would at least pretend to care about. But he doesn't, you know? He doesn't care about that. You know, they don't want kids to learn accurate history. They don't want kids to learn how to treat trans people with respect. And it is directly because they are bigots. It is in fact that simple. Like, it's not difficult to suss out what they're doing.
And I would like to say, when he says, because remember, he's not religious. I believe he's atheist. I am a religious man. And I appreciate that an atheist says this. Now, of course, there is a difference between teaching history of religion or teaching religion to children because you want them to grow up in the faith. And for instance, in Italy, where I'm from, it's a very Catholic country by percentage, right? Per capita at least. The teaching of the Catholic religion is optional in the sense that you will learn about history of religion, but if you belong to a different faith, like I had a classmate who's Jehovah's Witness and they didn't want that teaching, and so they could skip it and they would learn civic education on that hour. Or if you're a parent, you're like,
God damn it, I got muted again. I disagree. I think if you think your kid doesn't deserve a well-rounded education, you're just wrong. Your kid should learn about like other religions. Your kid should learn that other genders exist in history and in the modern day. Like, kids should be taught accurate information that allows them to function in the real world. And these two men don't want kids to be taught that.
No, we are atheists. We don't want the actual teaching of religion to my children. They can opt out, even in a country like Italy.
Yeah, but there's a big difference when you're like teaching a kid in a church that it is true that, like, I don't know, like, that there was a talking snake with legs that, like, convinced a woman to eat an apple, and now everyone has to die forever. You know, like, there's a difference between teaching a kid that that is true and teaching about the general concepts of each religion.
I would still not opt out from the history of religion because it's also a cultural phenomenon that is important to study. But this is the key difference, and I will address it on a dedicated video. But the key difference is when a religious parent decides that they want to teach their faith to their kids, they're teaching it to their kids. And when an atheist parent decides, no, I don't want my children to go to a church, right? They want to teach them secularism, for instance. Well, they are choosing what to teach to their kids. But when a propagandist, activist teacher decides to teach this propaganda, they're pushing it.
It's not propaganda. Trans people exist, ding dong. Like, trans people exist. Like, pretty demonstrably, trans people exist. And, like, teaching kids to just respect people who are different than them is not a big ask.
On their kids? No, on yours. That's why we call it political indoctrination. Because they're teaching something that you as a parent probably are not even aware of, and most likely would disagree with, if you agree with me and Zach. And yet their minds are being brainwashed because they think they know better. They think their kids belong to them, not you.
You're literally the one who is arguing that oh my god, okay. Can we just take a moment to acknowledge that this man is arguing that, like, children belong to their parents, as in, like, parents own their kids? Which is just such a disgusting way to, like, look at that. You know, like, that's not what a parental relationship is. You don't actually own your child. You're not actually able to, like, mold your kid into, like, an exact facsimile of you. Like, they're another person. And saying you own them is deeply weird and gross. It's always this children are the property of the parents shit. It always is. And it almost always is rooted in, like, this sick idea that, like, your kid needs to be you. Like you're, like, some desperate ploy for immortality.
And that's the problem. That's why we complain.
Like, that's the job that a school is supposed to fulfill. So a school should teach a kid about Christianity, Judaism, Islam,
Yes.
Hindu,
trans people.
Buddhism,
Yeah, I agree.
right? And it should teach kids about, you know, being straight, being gay, different types of, like, race stuff.
Did you guys hear he almost said different types of genders?
You know, being straight, being gay, different types of, like, race.
Different types of race stuff. But also, okay, so you're in a class and they're teaching you about what it means to be straight and what it means to be gay. How are you doing that lesson? How do you propose schools do that lesson without talking about gender as a concept? Just out of curiosity, I'm wondering. I would love for these two to attempt to design a curriculum. I would love to see it. Because, like, how are you proposing, what manner of educational material are you putting together where you talk about what it means to be straight and gay without talking about gender? How are you gonna go about doing that? I'm intensely curious.
Stuff. It should teach kids about, the Holocaust, about World War II, about different genocide.
About the Holocaust, you say? What about that part with the? What about that part of the Holocaust with the pink triangles? What about the lead up to the Holocaust with like the Weimar Republic and Magnus Hirschfeld? Do you want them to? Oh wait, no. You don't want them to learn too much about World War II or too much about the Holocaust. You don't want because that might involve talking about gender and like trans people. You couldn't have that, so you gotta cut off some of those topics. Those parts of the Holocaust aren't important to learn, I guess. You know all those famous pictures of the book burnings outside of the Institute of Sexology in yeah, not important to learn about, I guess.
It should teach kids about all this of communism, Soviet Russia, everything.
Absolutely.
Because that's what you need in order to have an informed citizen who can vote in a way that is beneficial for a country, right?
And what I would like to add to that, I totally agree with him, as usual, based take from Asmongold. But I want to say this is what I always refer to as academic neutrality, which unfortunately we've been losing because universities, schools are becoming breeding grounds for political brainwashing and indoctrination. We know this, it's proven, it's a fact, you can't twist your way out.
I love that this guy is just like, we know this, it's proven, it's a fact, you can't twist your way out of it. If it's so lock solid, produce some like evidence to back up your assertion there, bud. Like demonstrate your point. But he doesn't do that because he's lazy as hell.
Out of it with lies and gaslighting anymore. But when I talk about the academic neutrality, it means you just teach the facts and you teach children how to think freely and logically, not what to think.
That's what
Okay, but like... you can think freely and logically and also respect the trans people's pronouns. These things are not in conflict unless you're a bigot, man. These things are not in conflict at all, unless you're a bigot.
I would say. Okay, that's my fucking opinion.
Great.
I know some people might disagree, but that's where I'm at.
I agree.
And so that's it.
You guys don't have any idea where we're gonna go with this in a handful of minutes, but like I do, and it's wild.
Yeah, true, brother. But I think it's a matter of degree and order and age, right?
Yes.
Because teaching kids about this at 7
Schools
is very...
need to teach there are different types of alarm clocks.
Matthew H., thank you for the $10 Australian. Very much appreciated.
Different than teaching them about it at 17.
Absolutely.
I mean, this is...
Okay, but like, just to pause you there for a second. Kids at 7 years old already have established gender identities, number one. Because, like, they establish a gender identity by, like, age 3. Right? Just developmentally, like, by age 3, kids are like, I'm a boy, or I'm a girl, or I'm neither of those things. Generally speaking. But number 2, kids, by the time they've started school, understand basic pronoun usage, i.e., they know that daddy is he and mama is she. This isn't a difficult concept. By the time they start preschool, they've learned this stuff. So, the idea that, like, you can't teach like a 5-year-old or a 6-year-old or even a 7-year-old that, like, oh, some people, when they're born, a doctor looks at their whoopsie daisy bits and says, oh, this is a boy, and just takes a guess. And sometimes that doctor is wrong, you know? And that kid grows up and says, hey, that's not right. I'm actually a girl. And then everyone's like, oh, okay, she's a girl now. Like, when you're 5, that's sufficient. That leads to a sufficient understanding of the concept. And then, like, a kid is just gonna go like, okay, that makes sense. And then they're gonna go play on the jungle gym because they're 5. You know, like, that's... God.
It's a very obvious truth that everybody knows.
Yep.
And so, yeah.
Like, it's not a difficult concept to communicate to, like, a young child. You know, as evidenced by the fact that... Oh, God.
That's about it. And, yeah, anthropology courses do not fit education's agenda, unfortunately. Well, I don't know. I mean, a lot of times in history classes...
Man, dude, their audiences are dumb as shit. Their audiences are so dumb. Guys, anthropology classes don't count for education, I guess. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm gonna
Sometimes
lose it,
Sir
bro.
Topham Hatt looks at a new engine and says, "You're a locomotive."
Sometimes. Sir Topham Hatt has a lot, a man of many different hats, ironically. Thank you for the 5 tier 1 sub socket, Tanuki. I'm gonna throw out just real quick here one of my favorite resources, okay, when talking about this subject. So there is on the PBS website for their show Independent Lens, right? Or their series Independent Lens, right? They have this handy tool, which is an interactive map of gender diverse cultures. Did they update it? Yeah, here we go. Just like an interactive map of different cultures. You can actually see them all listed here. You know, you've got the Zapotec of Oaxaca, the Navajo have one, the Lakota have one, Thailand, Samoa, Indonesia has multiple, Tonga, Hawaii, Siberia, Albania, Italy, Ethiopia, New Zealand, Peru, Tanzania. You know, like, there are just so many different, and this is by no means comprehensive, right? But, like, you've got so many different cultures anthropologically demonstrated to have more than 2 genders. And, like, these chuckle nuts are just be like, no, there's only 2. There's only 2 of them. I wonder if they have an updated map here. Here. Yeah, here. I think this is the updated? No. Okay. But, like, if you click on some of these, right? Like, it'll show you, like, a general area and, like, give you, like, a little blurb about their history. And, like, it's really, really cool and worthwhile.
Genders are like holes.
You know?
No one has more than 2.
Yeah, all people only have 2 holes. So I'm gonna link this in chat here for all of you, just as a resource to rely on. Because these folks, Asmongold and Metatron, are just ignorant as hell.
You have a lot of overlap, etc.
Yeah.
But yeah, they don't teach kids how to live at all. Yeah, I don't think so. But anyway, so that's my viewpoint on it, right? And like how I think that it should be approached. And so you have a bunch of people. Oh, is this another one? Oh my gosh.
Oh my god, 3 cartoons? There are 3 cartoons with trans people in them? Oh my god. Wait a minute, how many cartoons have cis people in them? Like, I'm sorry, but like, these people are weak. Like Asmongold and Metatron, these are weak-minded individuals, feeble-minded, in fact. And I say that because they would have been destroyed by cartoons from like the 1950s. Like Bugs Bunny in a dress with a coconut bra on. Indoctrination! Like, these people are weak and pathetic. And stupid as hell.
How many of these are there?
It's not the park. It's me. I'm trans, Norma. And everyone at school knows, and everyone at home knows. And being here, it's like a whole new place. I can just be Barney. And I can...
Look at the... Did you say I can just be Bunny? Did you say Bunny? Look at the blue hair.
He said Barney.
As well.
Oh, Metatron, excellent commentary. The blue hair as well. Oh, cutting observations here. Oh no, a scene of someone being able to be themselves in a new environment.
If and when I tell people, I've never been happier. And that's saying something when I spent today chased by terrifying zombie mascots.
It's weird to me that this type of conversation is even in a kid's show to begin with, right?
It's weird to me that a dog would be wearing a fez. Huh. That you mean to tell me that this dog understands the cultural significance of wearing that fez? Netflix is indoctrinating children to expect dogs to wear fezzes. My God.
I mean, why is a gender conversation even in a kid's show at all?
Because kids, one, have complicated feelings about gender, bro. That's why. Like, it's not just a given. They don't understand what it is, because when a kid is born, they don't have built-in ideas about what is a boy thing or what is a girl thing. Kids don't have that. They are taught those things by adults. And that leads to like some really confusing things, because most adults aren't explicitly explaining how gender dynamics work to their kid. They just expect their kid to pick it up as they go, and not all kids do that, number one. But number two, like, kids that do pick it up still struggle with, like, is it okay if I like a girl thing sometimes? And the answer to that is yes. But also, some kids struggle with it because they're like, wait a minute, I like a lot of these girl things, and I feel like I'm a girl, but everyone's telling me that being a girl is less good than being a boy. And like, yeah, this is why cartoons for children deal with gender a lot, because kids have a lot of gender feelings and have a lot of questions about gender. And cartoons address that by essentially saying, hey, gender's complicated, and at the end of the day, all you need to know to be able to navigate that situation is how to treat somebody else with respect. You know? That's it. That's it. That is the fundamental message from these cartoons that they are complaining about and like bemoaning. It's just like they can't conceive of a world where like kids are taught to respect people different than them. That's it.
Like, I mean,
Molding the mind.
How long until we hear about the agender agenda?
You mean, you know, if you go down south, you'll hear about the agenda. I tell you what, the agenda. We got an agenda down here.
It's still malleable. It's sickening. It's insidious.
Again, the idea that, like, adults only teach children things so that they can, like, I don't know, I guess the implication here is sexually abuse them. Like, that's... Like, when he says it's sickening, it's insidious, like, I'm interpreting that as he thinks, like, adults only teach things to children to predate on them. But, like, frankly, if that's your interpretation of teaching kids how to treat others with respect, that is such a big self-report. It's such a big self-report, bro. Like, you're the one making the sickening and insidious assumptions, which says way more about you.
It's pernicious.
What's interesting to me about this, and this is one of the reasons why I don't like having this stuff in media, is that it breaks the fourth wall for me. And I don't know if it does that for you guys too, but it breaks the fourth wall in the way that when I see this on a show, I immediately am kind of taken out of the escapism of the media, escapism of the fantasy, and I'm reminded of the fact...
Sorry. Yeah, but that's a you problem. Like, that's because this show was not made for you, as evidenced by the fact that the content creator who made this reaction video labeled it on Netflix for 7-year-olds, and I can't help but notice that Asmongold is not a 7-year-old.
That, wait a minute, I'm watching something that's being made in order for me to believe in ideology.
Yes.
You know, it like kind of puts my guard up.
Every piece of art reflects an ideology. Every single one. Like, I'm sorry, but like when you're starting to... Oh, what, Star Wars is political? Yeah, it's literally about overthrowing a fucking empire. George Lucas is literally on the record talking about how the original Star Wars had the rebellion based off of the Viet Cong. If a child is so young they still believe in Santa, they probably don't have a very good tenuous grasp on reality. Probably shouldn't tell them they can change the gender they were born with. Literally just confusing the child. Care to comment on the age you believe children should be learning about this? I think children have gender identity. Like, they develop a gender identity by the time they're 3. They're saying, I'm a boy. And if your kid is telling you, I'm a boy, then you should, like, call them he, him. And then let them play with what they want. If your kid is telling you, I'm a girl, call
it's
them
my escapism. What are you
she,
escaping
her.
from? Trans people?
Like, it's not complicated. Like, and if they're like, wait a minute, my friend, I thought he was a boy, but they told me that, he's a girl now. What do I do? And you just tell them, like, oh, well, just use she, her pronouns. Like, simple as. It's not a complicated, it's not rocket science.
Why are they like this? Should we also be up in arms about VeggieTales indoctrinating children into evangelical Christianity, which they kinda do?
Well, I mean, VeggieTales is very specifically developed by Christian media groups to do that, yes. But ironically, one of my better performing videos on my channel is a video about Matt Walsh being really fucking angry at VeggieTales for not being bigoted. Which folks can check out if they want. But yeah, I'm sorry. The idea that, like, kids that already have gender identities and are, like, capable of reading, like, Matt Sat or Pat Sat books can't learn about gender, that's just silly. They've already learned about gender. Why are they like this? I mean, they're like this because they're bigots. Like, they're like this because they're bigots and they are grasping at straws to try and justify their own bigotry to audiences of millions.
A little bit.
Absolutely.
And it also makes me forget that, I'm watching something for entertainment.
Because you have a God, children don't. So I agree with him.
It reminds me that this is just simply a TV.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I can't speak for every trans person, obviously, but, like, by the time I was 5, I knew I was trans. like, one of my earliest memories is, like, playing in a way that I knew my dad would not approve of. And so, like, when he asked me why I was doing what I was doing, I lied. Like, and that was before I ever went to school. I had an understanding of gender and gender expectations and knew that, like, I wasn't fulfilling them the right way. But I didn't have the language to express that because I was fucking 5 and no one around me knew what a trans person was. People, sure, we agree, but children are incredibly easily influenced. Like, I'm sorry, how do you view this going down, BP Balfa? Like, how do you view this going down? Like, do you think that, like, you sit down and you teach like a 5-year-old a gender studies class? Or do you think it's just, sometimes, like, the doctor takes you out of your mama's tummy, looks, and gives his best guess, and sometimes that doctor is wrong. And then you find out later, and then you go, oh, I'm sorry. And then you start using the right pronouns. I just gave you the full explanation you would need to give a child, and that child is just gonna go, oh, okay.